Hello, welcome to today's exciting episode of the Law Show. The Law Show, where we discuss law and talk about your rights and how you can enforce your rights by yourself. Okay. It's appropriate for me to thank you, those of you who have subscribed, who have shared our videos, who have given us the thumbs up, who have clicked the notification bell, and who have reached us with your comments. So today we will be looking at questions that has been raised or comments from viewers and you viewers, and then we'll be answering them. Okay, so we'll be looking at questions and answers on the Law Show. I hope you'll enjoy it. Don't go away. I have with me here the very elegant Ife Para to help us to how I'm going to do it. Say hello.
Hi viewers, hello, welcome to the show.
Okay, so how are we going to do it? Am I going to ask you questions and then you answer?
No, I
or
want
you
to be the one to ask you.
You want to be the one to ask me questions? Okay, so we've selected some questions from some of the viewers, and we can answer them. As many questions as we can answer, we'll be glad. If we don't answer your question in this show, we'll do a subsequent Q&A, probably part 2 or episode 2 of the Q&A, question and answer session. And please do not be discouraged. Keep coming in with your questions, and then we'll be glad to provide answers. So let's give it a shot. Where do we start from?
Yes, I've been able to put some questions together. Many viewers who have watched your show are eager to get more information, more enlightenment on some of the topics you have talked about. I would like to take the first one on the issue of bail. Your episode where you talked about how you can secure bail without paying money. Now, many viewers are skeptical about how on earth am I going to go to the police station and secure bail without paying money. I would like you to throw more lights on that.
Well, thank you very much. That was an interesting one. Somebody, actually said that he left a comment that if he goes to police station and he tries the formula and then he's embarrassed, he's going to call me. He's going to call me to come to the police station. Well, I don't know where he is. If he calls me and he's in Kaduna or he's in Kano or wherever, But come to the point of it. What I suggested in that video, which was bail without paying money, how to get bail without paying money, is actually a system that works. From the experience of many lawyers, it has worked over time. All that whoever is involved needs to do is first understand that the police like when they detain somebody and that act is kind of secret. So they derive their powers, in a way from darkness, okay, if I might put it like that. So something that is undisclosed. Once they know that a lawyer is involved, and the first hint they will get of a lawyer being involved, from what I suggested, is do a letter to the commissioner of police if you are in the city, or to the DPO or the area commander or whoever is in charge. Do a letter to the commissioner, do a letter to the DPO, do a letter to the head of the OC, the officer in charge of the team, do a letter to the IPO. So once they get this letter, where you will stress, one, how long the person has been detained, the breach of the fundamental rights, the possibility of filing a suit if they don't release this person, etc. Chances are no policeman, no police formation wants to face a breach of fundamental rights suit, particularly the what do you call it, the officers cadre. They really understand these things. They don't want to get involved in it, and they will usually call the law officers and say, what's that person doing there? Let's get the person and get the person out on bail. So it's a system that actually works, but if you don't work it, it's not going to work for you. I mean, if you approach it from a defeatist angle, is it going to work? Policemen are also human beings. They know that they get cited in lawsuits. In fact, I think there was a time the Inspector General of Police came up with a policy that any policeman that causes the police to be liable in court, in damages, in compensation, will have to pay. And these days lawyers are also becoming very savvy. Lawyers now know that you can actually, apart from garnishing police account, you can also garnish the what do you call it now, the pension savings pension account of individual police officers. So, so that when they retire, they have no money to fall back to. So I think that no police officer who gets a letter from a lawyer saying, you know what, you need to release my client on bail, that will actually ignore it. So I don't think anyone should worry about that.
All right, but there's something they also do. They can just hurriedly charge to court.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if they charge to court, that's what the law says. The law says you arrest, they should charge to court. Let the court decide whether to grant bail. In most instances, courts will always grant bail, except it's not a bailable offense. All right.
All right, thank you very much. Now, on the episode of Married Women and Property.
Married women and property. That's the one we talked about, how a man can lose a matrimonial home if he divorces his wife. Okay.
Yes.
Many men didn't like that.
Yeah, so we had a comment from a woman who said that she divorced her husband in 2008, but while they were living together, they actually acquired a property together from a business which they jointly owned together, which they were running together. Now they've been divorced a long time ago. So her concern is, can she get something out of this sort of arrangement she had with her husband years back?
Well, I would answer yes. Now, 2008 we are doing this video now in 2019. So 2008 to 2019.
That's about 11 years.
About 11 years. Okay, so she needs to be fast, because the statutory limitation period for any lawsuit that has to do with land has to be filed within 12 years. I think that's generally in Nigeria by the limitation law. 12 years you must file an action that relates to land. Once it's above 12 years plus 1 day, you cannot file again. So I would rather suggest to the lady that if she, they have divorced, so I'm not talking about matrimonial property now. So she could be looking at the land which they bought as being joint ownership. Of course, she needs to give more details, but generally she needs to look at that land as being joint ownership. So you have joint ownership, or let me use another word, co-owned property. Because if they work together, like she said, in the same business, yes, they bought the land from the business proceeds, then it means that the land actually belongs to both of them, irrespective of the fact that the land may have been bought in the name of the husband. Okay. The law imposes a trust situation, what we call trust, that the husband who bought the property in his name actually bought in trust for both himself
and the wife.
So she has a part of it. She has some co-ownership. She has some part ownership of the land. Now there are two types of ownership, as you know. There's co-ownership and there's joint tenancy and tenancy in common. So she needs to figure that out. Get a lawyer and file the suit. But yes, since it's within the 12 years, she can file an action for co-ownership of the land, get the land sold or the house sold or whatever, okay, and then she can be entitled to a part of it.
Thank you very much for that beautiful response. Now, okay, your episode on sex for grades.
Sex for grades.
Sex for grades, yes. So yes, we got a comment from a student, a female student, of course, who asked, can she maintain an action after school? Because of course she's a student in this school, and she doesn't want a situation where she's going to jeopardize her stay in the school by trying to bring an action against any lecturer who has or who is harassing her sexually. So the point is, now I'm harassed sexually, so can I just chill, hold on till when I graduate and I can bring a lawsuit? Okay,
yeah, I think that that's possible, and it's also advisable because but the difficulty is that if she doesn't take action now to stop it, it's obviously going to continue. And if it's something that she does not quite welcome, it's something she doesn't welcome, though. So she's going to subject herself to all the emotional and all the problems associated with that. So that is on the one hand. But generally speaking, these sort of actions can relate to breaches of fundamental rights, right to dignity of a human person, etc., etc. So for fundamental rights claims, there is no limitation period. No limitation period. So now let's just talk about the what's her name again? Is this Simi Dakolo?
Yes.
Or Dagogo, or what's her name? Simi Dakolo.
Simi Dakolo.
One. Of course, it wasn't a traditional, it wasn't this an educational institution, but she was bringing the action probably about 20 years, and she used a writ of summons. Now, the court, of course, held that the limitation period applied, and the case was, subsequently struck out or dismissed. But if she had gone by way of the fundamental rights enforcement procedure rules, that one has no limitation period. So this lady or this girl is best advised to keep her evidence, keep her gathering her evidence, and keep setting a trap for this lecturer, keep text messages, keep pictures, record places, as much as you can, screenshot photographs, print them out, and keep waiting for him. By the time you graduate, boom, you hit him with the lawsuit. Okay?
Beautiful tips there. Then another very interesting one.
Yeah.
Your episode on how to sue a medical doctor.
How to sue a medical doctor.
Now, some viewers felt that the examples were rather too unrealistic. Like, they felt it was fabricated. How on earth will a doctor forget a wrapper in a woman's tummy at the station up? So, we would like you to throw more light on that.
Okay, well, I actually read that comment where some people thought, all those examples were unrealistic. But trust me, they are realistic examples. I mean, I didn't fictionalize it. The one about the woman with the wrapper happened in Benin, in an hospital at Benin City, south of Nigeria, in an hospital. I don't want to mention the name so that it's for her to decide that. So that one happened. The woman is alive, thanks be to God. She had to travel out of the country, out of Nigeria, before that thing was discovered. The one with the scissors, where a doctor forgot the scissors in a patient's tummy and actually, stitched it. This patient discovered that in Italy, because he had to be flown to Italy by his daughters, and he's somebody who actually met me and was talking about it, so I know about that. Then the one I talked about, was my son, who my wife went to the hospital. She was pregnant, and then she had stomach cramps, and the doctor recommended evacuation of the baby just for having stomach upset or cramps or whatever. So I don't think they were unrealistic. Now the tale about the actions, negligent actions of doctors in Nigeria, we can spend a whole day here talking about it. We can spend the whole day and the whole night and tomorrow talking about it. So I think that any doctor watching this can easily identify, with it. The one where the doctor was, in the surgery and the phone rang, he picked up the phone and was answering his call, also happened. The witnesses are alive. So anyone who wants to, challenge me.
I've had my experience too, but we'll talk about it later.
You had your experience too. Thank God you're alive. Okay. So they didn't forget a rapper in you, did they? I mean, look, Nigerian doctors are something else. I mean, they are really, they are creatures from another planet. I'm sorry. Some are good. Some are good. I have to say that, some are good. Yes. But most are, nothing to write home about.
A commentator, of course, seemed to have had issues with your point where you say most doctors are murderers. It just felt like it's to be too generalized.
Well, I think it's a fair comment, really, on a matter of public interest. I mean, the reality is that most doctors have caused the death of several patients, through their negligence. I mean, you can imagine an ICU unit, an intensive care unit of a hospital in Nigeria that does not have alternative power supply, So, intensive care unit, you don't have alternative power supply. You kill all the patients who are in intensive care. Once the national power supply goes off, everyone dies, because without oxygen, how are they going to survive? And this is very prevalent. Okay, so this is very, very prevalent, and so I didn't mince words about it. I think it's something the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria should actually look into, the training of doctors, the retraining of doctors, the orientation of doctors, because most doctors in Nigeria are murderers. The fact that they have not been charged to court, police do not investigate, doesn't actually, balk the point. So I'm going to do a video on how to discipline negligent Nigerian doctors. I'll also be talking about how negligently killing someone is manslaughter. It's provided for in the act. So I'll talk about it, and obviously, hopefully, the police can also, rise up and take up these matters.
Now, we also have a comment where someone felt that treating such topic paints doctors in bad light. Do you think that treating this sort of topic paints doctors in bad light?
Well. First of all, my role on the law show, and shall I say, my understanding with Pinnacle TV and the producers of the law show is to, educate people on their legal rights with a view to democratizing legal knowledge. My role is to talk about law so that people can understand their rights. I'm actually not here as a public relations consultant for the doctor or any person. Yeah. So I talk about law, and if any doctor watching has no skeleton in their cupboards, they shouldn't have anything to fear. But really and truly, if any doctor is watch that episode and that has been trending, that as at now we are talking. That program, that show, what's the title again? How to sue a medical doctor for negligence.
Yes.
It's gotten almost 500 views in a short period of time, and it's climbing. So that's great. Now, my point is, it's supposed to be instructional. It's supposed to be educational. So any doctor that watches that should be able to make necessary adjustments in terms of his attitude to work, in terms of his relationship with his patients, in terms of his commitment to his duties, etc. Because you never can tell if you are going to be the next doctor to be sued by a patient, either in Kafanchan or in Kano or in Anambra or wherever. So, just do your job and do your job well. I'm not here to window dress for any doctor. Sorry. Okay.
And so then you were asked, when will you do a show on how to sue barristers or lawyers?
Okay, somebody wanted to know.
And not just the doctors.
When will I do a show how to sue barristers? I will do a show how to sue lawyers and barristers. I promise that. So keep watching. You will find, a future episode where we'll do a show on how to sue lawyers. Obviously there are many lawyers also who are negligent. But their negligence is not as impactful, if I might use that word, as that of doctors, because doctors deal with life-threatening situations. But lawyers, okay, you might lose a property from negligence of a lawyer, you might lose your job, you might lose your freedom, but in very few circumstances can you lose your life from the negligence of a lawyer. So I'm not understating the impact of the negligence of lawyers. No lawyer should be negligent, and I'm going to do a show on that, whether any lawyer likes it or not. I may get all the bad vibes from lawyers when I do it, but that's fine. I'm used to it. But the point is, our goal, I need to say again, is to democratize legal knowledge. That's what Chief Gadifawa Himi of blessed memory taught us, that we should democratize the knowledge of the law. Let the common man on the street have the knowledge of the law as much as is within our power. And I think that's what we are doing on the law show, and I'm sure everybody should be happy for it.
All right, so this also brings us to our next question, which is in respect of your show, the illegality of magistrates freezing people's accounts. Now, people want to get to know, how on earth will you be able to vacate a magistrate's order freezing an account with just a letter?
Okay, well, first of all, I gave some options, and that was option number one. Was it number one or number two? Number one, I said, by the way, if you are viewing and you haven't watched that episode, you need to watch it, the illegality of magistrates freezing people's accounts. We did two shows on that. That's the first one. Then the second one was how to unblock
magistrate court order
that is freezing your account. So if your account is frozen, how to unblock it. So now, number one, most magistrates actually know that when they issued such bankers order, they feel uneasy. They know it's actually not legal because they've never seen the law, the 1847 or whatever law. They've never seen it. So they know in their heart of hearts that these orders they are making are not actually right. There's no lawsuit, there's no case number, no charge number, no accused person, no defendant, nothing. So they know that. consequently, if they get a letter asking them to, remove it, I'm sure they will quite oblige. But if they don't do that, then you trigger the next level, which is, file an application before that magistrate. So I mean, systems work when you work them, applications work when you work them, procedures work when you work them, strategies work when you work them.
Yes.
I mean, if you are watching and you are a lawyer and you think you have some skepticism, then do the other one. But if you don't have skepticism, do this one. Okay, so can we take a short break and then come back? I like to take a break. Okay, so we take a break so I can gather myself, gather my to answer more questions from Ife Okpara. Now, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, Pinnacle TV Online, please do subscribe. Share the videos if you like them. Give us the thumbs up if you like the video. If you don't like it, you can also give us the thumbs down so that we will know that you don't like it. But if you like it, give us the thumbs up, share, and subscribe. Subscription costs you absolutely nothing. It's free of charge, because some people have asked, how much does it cost for me to subscribe? If you subscribe, the advantage is that we need to hit the target of 1,000 subscribers. And if you are enjoying this, you have watched this, and I know there are lots of you who have watched. We've got thousands of hours of watch view at this point, so many people are watching. You need to subscribe so that when we hit 1,000 subscribers, Google can then participate with us, assist us, to keep these videos, coming and improve it, get better cameras, improve the studio, and get better air conditioning system so that we don't sweat. The beautiful Ife will not sweat, and all of that. So please, subscribe. Thank you. 24 hours, 7 days a week.
For more exciting, educative, and entertaining programs such as Law and You, Talk Politics, Entertainment Gist, Relationship Talk, and other programs, keep watching Pinnacle TV. You can watch live and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Pinnacle TV Online. You can also visit our website at www.pinnacletv.com. Follow us on Facebook at Pinnacle TV Online, or call us on 081 546 99989. Pinnacle TV, top quality broadcasting.
Welcome back. We are still dealing with questions and answers from viewers. Some of them are tough questions, some of them are tougher questions, but we're trying our best to answer them now. You need to keep your questions coming in. If you have questions, if you have comments, you can leave your questions and comments in the comment section. We'll answer it either in this or future episodes. Ife Okpara, the lovely Ife Okpara, is here asking me difficult questions. Fire on.
That's so difficult. All right, so we have a question from a viewer who said, is it possible to sue police and actually recover damages? Will they pay?
Good question. As a lawyer, we're not allowed to talk about cases we have done and stuff like that. But let me just say to people that it's actually possible to sue police and recover them, compensation, damages being compensation. Now, I've got a book out on this. I think I introduced it in a previous episode. I can talk about it again. It's called How to File a Successful Fundamental Rights Claim. So in that book, you can learn the A to Z of how to sue the police from A to Z. We'll try and put, the book, a picture of it on the screen so that you can get it A to Z of how to sue the police. So yes, you can sue the police. And how do you recover? If court awards you compensation, you write to the police. You don't go there and say, I'm going to seize your cars, I'm going to seize your guns. That won't work. So what you do is you go by way of garnishee, recovering money, recovered in a judgment. We have a video on that. We did a video on that. So if you are watching, look for the video, how to recover money awarded to you in a judgment. Okay, so yes, possible.
Apart from just suing the police, a viewer wants to know, how do you also sue EFCC? Is it the same thing as suing the police?
Well, we haven't done a show on that yet, how to sue the EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. We will do a show on that. But, just to answer the question, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is an agency of the federal government of Nigeria. They are also amenable to court, lawsuits. So if anybody has any problem with them, of course you can sue them. And several people have sued them and gotten judgment, so it's not a big deal to sue the Economic EFCC. So, nobody. But I would recommend that if anybody has a problem with the EFCC, get a lawyer. Don't just try to sue them yourself. Some of these, legal procedures can be slightly complicated, and you could be in need of, you could use the help of a qualified lawyer. So, just get a lawyer, and then you can sue.
Oh, thank you very much. And finally, for this question and answer session, now our viewers want to know, what is the current position with the waste management case in Edo State? So many questions have been asked. People are always asking, what is the position? What is happening at the Court of Appeal? What's going on?
Okay, well, the waste management case in Edo State, if we might recap, is a case where the High Court of Edo State nullified the waste management law, which is I'm just trying to remember I just remember the name of the case now. Number 10 law, environmental law of Edo State, number 10. I hope I remember anyway. So I can't have everything up here. Anyway, so the High Court nullified that law. There was an appeal by the government to the Court of Appeal, and of course at the Court of Appeal the matter is fixed for hearing on the 20th of February 2022. So if you are watching this before February 2022, just mark the date in your calendar. The case is fixed for hearing 20th of February 2020. That's 22 or 20?
2020.
2020, not 2022. I'm so sorry. Okay, it's been a long day. Okay, so it's 20th February 2020. So this is 2019. Just next year, we are 2019 November. We are recording in November 2019. So it's November, December, January, and February. Just 3 or 4 months. 20th. It will come up for hearing at the Court of Appeal, when the Court of Appeal will entertain arguments from counsel, both to the state and to the respondents, as to the validity of that Edo State Environmental and Waste Management Law number 10 of 2010. Now I remember it, okay? Finally. So that is the law. The court will entertain arguments, and if you are free on that day, come to the Court of Appeal in Benin. If you live around the Benin area, come and and see the arguments. Okay, so all papers have been filed, all briefs of arguments have been filed. Now, I think why people are asking about this is because the Waste Management Board is still active, and they are oppressing people, if I might say it like that, charging people. So what I would say to that is that the Court of Appeal actually granted a stay of execution of the judgment of the High Court. So that seemed to have given them temporary release of life, which right now can last for another 3-4 months when the arguments will come up. So I tell people, if you get a bill from the Waste Management, don't ignore it. If you get a violation notice, don't ignore it. If they serve you with any sort of court summons, do not ignore it. You need to take action, get a lawyer, get your lawyer involved, so that they can actually put your case before the courts. Now, I also have to say quickly that most of the magistrates who preside over the mobile courts, are quite, how do I say it now? They are quite open-hearted to listen to people when they come with complaints of waste managers not evacuating waste, or that the procedure is just one, used in abuse of court process and all that. So, you can always approach them and put your case across, or better still, get your lawyer to help you, So I think any other question?
For
Am
now,
I
we are
free
going to
go?
let you go for now.
All right, thank you very much. So that's how it's been today. Thank you very much, Ify, for coming on the Law Show.
Thank you.
You took a break from your entertainment show to come to the Law Show.
I enjoy being in this show today.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. You want to come join us in the Law Show? Just leave the entertainment show. What do you think?
I'll think about that and I'll get back to you.
All right, so that's how it's been today. Please subscribe, like, share. Click the notification bell, and by all means, let us have your comments. Keep bringing in your comments, and please watch our videos from beginning to the end, because YouTube keeps track of how long each person watches the videos. That's how you can help us. Subscribe, watch our videos, like them, share them amongst your friends, okay? And then thank you very much. Thank you again, Ify, for coming. And thank you too. God bless. 24 hours, 7 days a week.
For more exciting, educative, and entertaining programs such as Law and You, Talk Politics, Entertainment Gist, Relationship Talk, and other programs, keep watching Pinnacle TV. You can watch, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Pinnacle TV Online. You can also visit our website at www.pinnacletv.com. Follow us on Facebook at Pinnacle TV Online.